We'll be looking at algebraic fractions. Looking at algebraic fractions, and then we'll continue from where we stopped in algebraic fraction. I will trust that we'll be able to make improvements as we solve more problems in algebraic fractions. Okay, we'll start our work today by looking at exercise 17E, and I'll start from question 22. We'll start from question 22, and I've written the question on the board. I will try to solve. The first thing we need to do is to establish what the LCD is. The LCD in this case will simply be m plus 3 into 2m into what? M minus 4. Applying relevant substitutions, we're going to have that when this divides this, you'll be left with these two. So you have 2m into m minus 4 times 11. Then to multiply this, will multiply 11. So it will be 2m times 11, which will give you 22m, equal to all of this, divide this. This will cancel out this, and I'll be left with 5 into m plus 3 into m minus 4. Minus this into this, I'll be left with this one, and that will be 2m into m plus 3. Now, sometimes for students, it might look so cumbersome when they try to address everything all at once. So what I advise my students to do is that you can pick up, you can do the simplifications first and then apply them. Or if you can follow with me and then I'll just apply them individually. So when you do your own practice, do the simplification separately before you apply. This will give me 22m squared minus what? 88m equal to 5 into m squared minus 4 plus 3, that's minus n, minus 12, then minus what? 2m squared minus 6m. Right, what's the next thing you do? You open this bracket. It's important you open this bracket first. So I'll have 22 m squared minus 88m equal to 5m squared minus what? 5m minus 60 minus 60 minus 2m squared minus 6m. So that's what will happen. So this, you take care of this part. I always encourage my students to take care of the problems gradually. Don't be in a hurry. This minus this will give me what? 3m squared. This and this will give me, this and this will give me minus 11m and what? Minus 60. So you can bring them all this way. Now you have what? 22m squared minus 3m squared minus 88m plus 11m plus 60 equal to 0. So what will be the next thing you do? At this point, this will give me 19m squared minus 77m plus 60 equal to 0. So this is where the first real work begins, or would rest. This is where the first real work would rest, and as such, you have 19, you have 60. Now we need to break them so that we can get 77. Now if you look at that, this 19, this will be seen as 19 times 3 times 20. So I have what? 57 and what? 20. Those are the factors I'll be making use of to solve the problem. So what do? I'll have that this will be 19m squared minus 57m minus 20m plus 60 equal to 0. So I factor 19 out. That'll be m minus 3. I factor minus 20 and that'll be m minus 3 equal to 0. So m minus 3 will now multiply 19m minus 20 equal to 0. So from here, it becomes very easy for us to simplify this, and this becomes what? M equal to 3 or what? N equal to 20 over 19. That is care of question 22. So you take out time and look at that, and then we'll go to the next one. Okay, so the next one, we'll take the LCD. The LCD in this case will be 2n minus 3 into 2n plus 1 into n minus 1. So that's what the LCD will be. And if we do that correctly, this will give me 2n plus 1 into n minus 1 plus 2n minus 3 into n minus 1 minus 2n minus 3 into 2n plus 1 equal to 0. So if that is done, next thing will be to try to open up the brackets, and this will give me 2n squared plus minus n minus 1 plus, this will give me 2n squared minus 5n plus 3 minus into 4n squared. This is plus minus 4n minus 3 equal to 0. So we can treat this together. This will give me 4n squared minus 6n plus 2. 4n squared minus 6n plus 2 minus 4n squared plus 4n plus 3 equal to 0. And confirm this last one that we did the right thing. This will be 3. This will be 2 and 6. So minus, and that will be, so that we did the right thing there. So this will go with this. And I'll be left with minus 2n, how? Plus what? 5 equal to 0, meaning that n is equal to what? 5 over 2. And that solves the question of 22. So this is for question 24. The first thing again is to try to identify the LCD, and that will be u plus 2 into u plus 1 into u plus 4. That's what the LCD will be. The LCD will be that. Then the next thing, you apply this divided by this will leave you with 2 into u plus 1 into u plus 4 equal to, apply this here, this will be 2 into u plus 2 into u plus 4, and then apply this one here will be what? Minus u plus 2 into u plus 1. Okay, the next thing we need to do is to try to open up the bracket. So this will be 2 into u squared plus 5u plus 4. This you can do gradually, you can do them separately and then apply them back in. This will give me 2 into u squared plus 6u plus 8. And this will give me minus into u squared plus 3u plus 2. Right, so that's what you have. Now the next thing you want to do is to try to open up the bracket. That will be 2u squared plus 10u plus 8 equal to 2u squared plus what? 12u plus 16 minus u squared minus 3u minus 2. The next thing you want to do is to now equate this. This is 2u squared plus 10u plus 8 equal to this minus this will give me u squared. This minus this will give me minus 3 minus 9 u, and this minus this will give me plus what? 14. Okay, it should be plus because 12 minus 3 will give me 9, and that is square of this one. So the next thing will now be relevant subtraction. This will be what? U squared. This minus this, this minus this, this minus this equal to what? 0. So with that in mind, we can now solve and get that u minus 3 into u plus 2 will be equal to 0, meaning that u will be equal to 3 or what? Minus 2. That will be the answer for that question. I hope that is understood. So look at question 25. And what would this be? This will be equal to, this will be what? LCD is the first thing we need to figure out. The LCD will be 2D plus 3 into 2D plus 1 into D plus 1. This will divide this. And what you're going to have will be 3 into what? 2D plus 1 into D plus 1 minus what? Bracket open 2D plus 3 into D plus 1. And then this one, this equal to what? 2D plus 3 into 2D plus 1. All right. So with that in place, this will now be 3 into 2D what? Squared plus what? 3D plus 1 minus bracket open 2D squared plus 5D plus 3. This will be equal to 4D squared plus 5D plus 3. I hope I got that right. This is 6 plus 2, that should be 8. Let's see. 2D, 6D, that's 8. 3, 12. All right, that's in order. That's correct. So the next thing now is to take care of this one. This will give me 6D squared plus 9D plus 3 minus 2D squared minus 5D minus 3 equal to 4D squared plus 8D plus 3. So I will advise you take care of this part first. Now look at this. This will give me 4D squared. Now take care of this. That will give me plus 4D. Now watch this. That will give me 0 equal to 4D squared. I seen that plus 8D plus 3. Now these two will cancel themselves out because they are the same values on either side of the equation. So that will mean that what? 8D plus 3 will be equal to 4D, which will invariably mean that, if we decide to continue from here, that 8D minus 4D will be equal to 3, meaning that 4D will be equal to what? 3, and D will be equal to 3 over 4. So that is the answer to that question, question 25. I hope that is understood by everybody. Okay. Okay, for question 26, it will be 4A minus 1 plus A plus 4 minus 2 equal to 2A minus 1 all over A plus 2. How do we handle a question like this? First of all, we try to identify what the LCD will be. The LCD is simply what? A plus 4 into A plus 2. Some students will keep asking, what is the LCD? The LCD is the lowest common denominator. You look at the denominator. If you take the LCM of denominators, you discover that these are factors. So from there, you use this to divide this, and you'll be left with 4A minus 1 into what? A plus 2 minus 2 into what? A plus 4 into A plus 2 equal to 2A minus 1 into A plus 4. All right. So the next thing you want to do is to try to expand them. Expand this part. You need to have 4A squared. 8 minus 1, that's 7 plus 7A minus 2. Then minus 2 into what? A squared plus 6A plus 8 equal to what? 2A squared minus 4. Oh, minus 4. 8 minus 1, that's plus 7A minus 4. So let's check and be sure that what we have done is correct. So let's check to be sure that what we have done is correct. Okay, so from here, you're going to have 4A squared minus plus 7A minus 2 minus 2A squared minus 12A minus 16 equal to 2A squared plus 7A minus 4. Treat your left-hand side first. This will give me 2A squared minus 5A minus 18 equal to 2A squared plus 7A minus 4. Right, so that will give me, this was easily eliminated. So I'm going to have 7A plus minus 4 being equal to minus 5A minus 18. Take note of this, that we're equating both sides. So from here, this will give me 7A plus 5A equal to minus 18 plus 4. I hope what we have done is in order. Trust is in order. So this will give me 12A equal to minus 14, meaning that A is equal to negative 14 over 12, and that will be negative 7 over 6. So please, it's important for you to solve this through and check and confirm that what we have done is correct, and with limitation of errors, that should be what the answer is. All right. Okay, we're through with exercise 17E, and in our next topic, we'll be going into what is called undefined equations, and that will be exercise from exercise 17F, if I'm right with that, 17F. And what does it mean when we say an equation is undefined? What does it mean for an equation to be undefined? An equation is said to be undefined if it is equal to 1 over 0. So, we're treating undefined fractions. A fraction is said to be undefined if its denominator is 0. So hence, we say that A over B is equal to 1 over 0. A over B is equal to 1 over 0. So we can actually solve algebraic fractions where the equation is said to be what? Undefined. If we look at our exercise, the exercise 17F, look at exercise 17F. Exercise 17F, if you look at exercise 17F, the first question there says, express the values of x for which the expressions are what? Undefined. It means that 7 over x minus 3 will be equal to 1 over 0. That's what it means. And from this, it will mean that x minus 3 will be equal to 0, and as such, x is equal to what? 3. So the value for which this equation is undefined will be the value such that what? X is equal to what? 3. And that's how we said here that a fraction is going to be undefined if its denominator is what? 0.